MSW Media.
News with swearing. Daily beans, daily beans. Daily beans, daily beans.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Beans for Monday, December 1st, 2025. Today, sources say Pete Kegseth ordered the murder of 2 survivors in the first Caribbean boat strike. The House and Senate are opening rigorous oversight investigations into the Pentagon after that reporting. The man who shot 2 Guard members in D.C. was a CIA zero-unit paramilitary member and was granted asylum by the Trump administration. A judge seeks to preemptively shield Epstein survivors' names in the potential upcoming release of the files. A growing website is chronicling DOJ employees' resignation letters. Donald Trump says he's canceling all of President Biden's orders signed with an auto pen. Northwestern University has bent the knee and paid Trump to restore their federal grants. Trump's approval rating is in the toilet, and the president issued a racist rant on Thanksgiving. I'm Allison Gill.
And I'm Dana Goldberg.
I don't know why I paused with I forgot my name.
I always try and follow your lead. So if you do something weird, I try and I match your weird so that it doesn't stand out. And then we end up addressing it when we come back to the show.
Good cover. And then we blow the cover.
I know. I got you. And then I'm going to throw us both under the bus.
Oh my God. Welcome back, Dana. It's good to see you, my friend.
Oh, it's good to see you too. Thanks for covering me while I was traveling for the holiday. I appreciate it. I hope everyone had a nice, I even hate to say Thanksgiving. I know there's so much mixed feelings around this holiday with colonization and where this holiday started. I just hope people had a nice time with friends and family if you spent it that way. And otherwise, if you were alone for the holiday, you had moments of internal gratitude just for something good in your life. And we can do that every day. We don't have to wait till quote unquote Thanksgiving to make that happen. But anyway, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you, and I'm happy to be back.
Oh, it's good to see you, my friend. Today, we're launching our new video podcast. I'm excited. It's called The Beans Talk. You can watch it for free on the MSW Media YouTube channel. Please subscribe. It's free to subscribe. We hope you love it. We've been working on it for a month behind the scenes with our paid subs. So we really, really appreciate everybody's feedback. I think we've got everything dialed in except the sign off. So we'll see how that goes. And also thanks to everybody who watched the breakdown over on the Midas Touch Network for both the news this Sunday and a personal announcement that I made. In case you missed it, my personal announcement was in response to Trump's bigoted, awful Thanksgiving message on Truth Social. Trump said he would personally pause migration from third world countries and he would denaturalize all immigrants who are a public charge or non-compatible with Western civilization, which means anyone who isn't white. And he said the regime will now begin remigration or reverse migration, which, let's be clear, is ethnic cleansing. And then he wished everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
It was disgusting.
I mean, to say, everyone, I'm announcing ethnic cleansing, happy Thanksgiving. I can't. But he also said he's going to end all federal benefits to non-citizens. First of all, non-citizens don't get federal benefits, but that last bit is where my personal announcement comes in. Let me read my statement in response to this bigoted, deranged rant from Donald Trump. As many of you know, I'm a 100% disabled veteran, and because of that, I receive monthly disability compensation from the federal government. So this year, for Giving Tuesday, I'm doing something different. I'm donating the equivalent of my entire annual veterans disability compensation to the people that this administration is putting directly in harm's way. Immigrants, asylum seekers, undocumented families, LGBTQ plus folks, and anyone being targeted or threatened under these hateful policies. Now, I usually donate quietly, but not this year. This year, I want Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, who I think actually wrote that screed, I want them to know every dollar they send me will be redirected to the very communities they're trying to punish. So if they insist on funding cruelty, I'll insist on funding compassion. And I want you to know why I'm able to do this. It's because all of you listen to the Daily Beans, or you watch the breakdown on Midas, or you read my Substack, or you sign up to watch the new Beans Talk video podcast. Now, all my content is always free, but your voluntary support our patrons, and the ad revenue that you generate make this possible. This is because of you. You've given me the stability to turn my benefits into a lifeline for people who need it way more than I do. So thank you, genuinely, for helping me pay it forward to the people who deserve protection, dignity, and a fighting chance. So that's my statement. And I just want to, again, my gratitude this whole weekend is for all y'all.
You're pretty incredible, my friend. That's all I have to say. It's amazing that you're in a position you can do that and to have it directed toward the right things. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm sure there's many people listening that very much appreciate this, not just gesture, but action. This is actionable item. And so that's it. That's all I got to say. You're kind of amazing.
Thank you. I love giving a righteous middle finger of compassion to this particular administration.
Hell yeah.
It's one of my favorite things. All right, everybody, we have a ton of news to get to, as you could tell by the introduction. So let's do some quick hits.
And to make a long story short, too late.
First up, Jason Leopold, the FOIA whisperer who writes for Bloomberg News, got 75 pages of internal FBI emails about the project to redact Trump from the Epstein files. Now, I went over those emails on the breakdown over on the Midas Touch podcast. There's a link in the show notes where you can watch that side-by-side reporting with those emails confirming that reporting. And it's banana pants. I think you and I talked about the fact that they spent $1 million over 5 days in overtime to force these FBI personnel to go through these horrific files and remove Trump's name, or at least mark it for redaction. So
yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ugh. It's all right. Ugh, it's good.
That's all I have to say. That's my professional legal commentary. Ugh.
Now, there's more with the Epstein files, though. This is from NBC. A federal judge is pressing the Justice Department to explain how it will protect the identities of Jeffrey Epstein's victims after lawyers said that dozens of their names appeared unredacted in documents released by Congress, prompting that they described as what I'm seeing as widespread panic. Now, Judge Richard Berman of the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of New York on Wednesday night requested a detailed description of the materials the government intends to release and an explanation of how it will safeguard the privacy of victims, including through redactions.
Yeah, and that's interesting because my reporting from this summer when I spoke to my sources who did this review, apparently Kash Patel and Trump allies wanted all the victims' information. And it was the FBI agents and analysts who were like, no, we have to redact those and we can't give those unredacted to you, because they were concerned that they were going to use them to go after the survivors.
Yeah.
All right, from NBC. Also, President Donald Trump announced Friday he's going to cancel all executive orders signed using President Joe Biden's auto pen.
Ridiculous.
This dude pardoned 1,600 criminal motherfuckers from January 6th. You telling me he signed by hand every single one of those pardons?
No.
Fuck no.
Absolutely he didn't.
He doesn't even know what he's signing when he's in the Oval Office. What's this? Can I tell me, explain this? What? Okay, sign. Hold it up. Look at my face. He doesn't even know what he's signing. He's so far gone.
He doesn't. He doesn't even know he's pardoning.
No, he doesn't. And he just pardoned some drug cartel lord.
Yeah. Oh, but we're just blowing up people for no damn reason in these oceans, but we're going to pardon a drug cartel lord.
Yeah. Okay. But Biden's team, by the way, didn't respond to a request for comment because it's stupid. But the former president I added that. That's not in this article. But the former president has rejected these claims in the past. Biden said in June, let me be clear, I made these decisions during my presidency. AutoPen is a normal thing. They've been using it for at least a decade.
Oh, he's such a petulant. I can't even call him a child because that's insulting children. This is from NBC. Northwestern University has agreed to pay $75 million to the U.S. government in a deal with the Trump administration to end a series of investigations and restore hundreds of millions of dollars in federal research funding. Under the agreement announced Friday night, Northwestern will make the payment to the U.S. Treasury over the next 3 years. Among other commitments, is also required the university to revoke the so-called Deering Meadow Agreement, which it signed in April of 2024 in exchange for pro-Palestinian protesters ending their tent encampment on campus. The agreement also calls for Northwestern to continue compliance with federal anti-discrimination laws, develop training materials to, and I quote, socialize international students with the norms of a campus dedicated to open debate, and uphold a commitment to Title IX, by providing safe and fair opportunities for women, including single-sex housing for any woman defined on the basis of sex who requests such accommodations, and all female sports, locker rooms, and showering facilities. Disgusting.
I didn't think Northwestern was going to do this. They were in.
I honestly didn't either.
Negotiations.
It'd be interesting to know what changed.
Yeah, because I remember the president putting out a statement, like, not the president of the United States, but of the university, being like, no, we're not going to get rid of this stuff. But I guess their grants are more important. It's worth it, I guess, to them to capitulate and bend the knee. So shame on Northwestern. All right, everybody, we've got a lot more news to get to. We're going to do the hot notes after this quick break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, everybody. DeleteMe makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. So thanks to our sponsor, DeleteMe. As you know, I've got a public life. I use DeleteMe to protect my privacy and the privacy of my business. Every week, you see news stories about security breaches online that expose names, addresses, social security numbers. Data brokers scoop up all that information, then they list it for sale, where anyone can buy it. And then that becomes a pipeline to identity theft, phishing scams, spam, and targeted harassment. DeleteMe exists to break that cycle. And once you sign up, you tell them what you want off the internet, and their team of experts get to work doing it. They send you regular personalized reports showing what they found, where they found it, what they removed, and how much time they saved you having to remove it yourself. Wirecutter and the New York Times even named DeleteMe the top pick for data removal services. As someone who has a lot of presence online, I value the time saved and the peace of mind I get by using DeleteMe. So let DeleteMe do the heavy lifting and keep your details out of the wrong hands. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe. Now at a special discount for listeners. Get 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/dailybeans and use promo code dailybeans at checkout. Again, the only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/dailybeans and enter code dailybeans at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/dailybeans, code dailybeans. You'll be glad you did. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for the hot notes. Hot notes. All right, first up from the Post. Content warning for, war. A missile screamed off the Trinidad coast, striking the vessel and igniting a blaze from bow to stern. For minutes, commanders watched the boat burning on a live drone feed. As the smoke cleared, they got a jolt. 2 survivors were clinging to the smoldering wreck. The Special Operations Commander overseeing that September 2nd attack, the opening salvo in the Trump administration's quote-unquote war on suspected drug traffickers, that Special Operations Commander ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions, according to 2 people familiar, and the 2 men were blown apart in the water. Hegseth's order, which had not been previously reported, adds another dimension to the campaign against suspected drug traffickers. That's a weird way to put that. It's called murder. Some current and former U.S. officials and law of war experts have said the Pentagon's lethal campaign, which has killed more than 80 people to date, is unlawful and could expose those most directly involved to future prosecution. They allege traffickers pose no imminent threat of attack against the United States and are not, as the Trump administration has tried to argue, in an armed conflict with the United States. Because, Trump says that the drugs are weapons, so it's an armed conflict. Because there's no legitimate war between these 2 sides, killing any of the men in the boats amounts to murder. That's what Todd Huntley said, a former military lawyer who advised special operations forces for 7 years at the height of the U.S. counterterrorism campaign. Even if the U.S. were at war with these traffickers in order to kill all the boat's occupants if they were no longer able to fight, would in essence be an order to show no quarter, which is a war crime. The report is based on interviews with and accounts from 7 people with knowledge of the September 2nd strike. The elite counterterror group SEAL Team 6 led the attack, according to 4 people who spoke on the condition of anonymity. The commander overseeing the operation from Fort Bragg in North Carolina is Admiral Frank M. Mitch Bradley. He told people on the secure conference call that the survivors were still legitimate targets because they could theoretically call other traffickers to retrieve them and their cargo. He ordered the second strike to fulfill Hegseth's directive that everyone must be killed. And from NBC, Dana, both House and the Senate have started rigorous inquiries into a reported second strike that killed those 2 people. Top Republican and Democrat on the GOP-led Senate Armed Services Committee said in a statement Friday that the committee is aware of these reports, and the Republican-led House Armed Services Committee followed suit Saturday, with Mike Rogers, Republican, and Adam Smith, a Democrat, issuing a joint statement saying the House committee is committed to providing rigorous oversight of the Department of Defense's military operations in the Caribbean.
I sure hope so. I hope Pete Hegseth has to pay for all of this shit one day. Ends up behind bars in a federal prison for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just send him out to a boat in the Caribbean. This was from CBS. One letter said, and I quote, "It became clear that it was time for me to go." Another one, "I cannot continue to serve in such a hostile and toxic work environment." Amid a growing wave of firings, resignations, and retirements from the Justice Department, some former agency officials, they're curating a public online display of the farewell messages of ousted employees. Some of the letters from purged non-political career Justice Department attorneys warn of a threat to democracy and a crumbling of the norms and standards in federal prosecutions. Justice Connection, that's a group of former Justice Department employees, has organized and posted the online page of goodbye messages. The organization's executive director and founder, Stacey Young, a former civil division attorney for the Justice Department, said the Justice Department purge has now eclipsed 5,000 employees since January, including resignations, firings, and retirements. One of the messages posted was written by Maureen Comey. As we know, that's the former New York-based federal prosecutor who is the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey and previously handled part of the criminal case against convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. When she was fired this year, Maureen Comey wrote, and I quote, "If a career prosecutor can be fired without reason, fear may seep into the decisions of those who remain. Do not let that happen." She said, "Fear is the tool of a tyrant, wielded to suppress independent thought. Instead of fear, let this moment fuel the fire that already burns at the heart of this place." Hagen Scotton, who resigned from the office of the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York after Justice Department leaders intervened to drop the office's criminal prosecution of New York City Mayor Eric Adams, left blistering farewell letter to his teammates. He said, "If no lawyer within earshot of the president is willing to give him that advice, then I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or even enough of a coward to file your motion." That was from Scott, and that's what they wrote. But it was never going to be me. And they did find that fool, by the way.
They did.
Yeah. Patty Hartman, who was fired in April from her communications position at the U.S. Attorney's Office for Washington, D.C., told CBS News she especially wanted to share a goodbye message with her team because her firing was unexpected, abrupt, and resulted in immediately losing access to her government-issued phone and computer. And she said, "The people in charge who are supposed to protect us, our fellow Americans who we elected, along with those who were appointed and swore an oath to protect this nation and our Constitution, now use the Constitution as a weapon to suit their own ends." That's Hartman's farewell message. When someone disappears from the office without notice, there's a tendency to think they did something wrong. This is again Hartman. She told CBS News and went on to say, "It was important for me to publicly acknowledge my illegal termination because so many others were experiencing it. And quite frankly, I was pissed off." A resigned FBI analyst wrote, and this is another quote to end this story, "If I learned anything in the FBI, it's that yes, you can say no. If something is wrong, unjust, or unethical, you speak up. And sometimes speaking up means saying no."
Yeah, I think that's all the 6 Democratic lawmakers were trying to tell our military when they said, don't follow unlawful orders.
Yeah.
Next up from the Times, the man suspected of shooting 2 National Guard members, I'm not going to give his name here, was once part of a CIA-backed paramilitary group, one of several so-called zero units. That's according to Afghan and U.S. officials. These units, formerly known as counterterrorism pursuit teams, were trained to conduct night raids and clandestine missions across Afghanistan during the U.S. war in that country. By the time the United States had withdrawn from Afghanistan in August of 2021, the units had officially become part of the Afghan intelligence service and included thousands of members. As the Afghan military dissolved and the U.S. military scrambled to evacuate thousands of people during the Taliban's rapid takeover, the zero units were essential to securing the remaining U.S. and NATO bases in Kabul, which is the capital of Afghanistan. For some zero unit members, this ensured their eventual evacuation to the United States. This was the deal. The suspect received asylum from the U.S. government in April of this year, according to 3 people with knowledge. The shooter was assigned to the 03 unit, according to an Afghan intelligence official speaking anonymously because he's not allowed to comment publicly. The unit was responsible for operations around the southern province of Kandahar and beyond. Though the unit was based in the south, much of its leadership and members, like the shooter, were from Afghanistan's east. After the Taliban took over Afghanistan, many of the unit members were evacuated with the United States' help, including its last commander, and resettled in the Seattle area. Now, several former members of the 0 units living in the United States were terrified by what had happened. Reached by phone, they said they were trying to live like responsible citizens, working to build a life from scratch. The 0 units were largely recruited, trained, and equipped and overseen by the CIA. That's according to Human Rights Watch. U.S. Special Operations Forces working with the CIA also provided the units with ground support and intelligence during their operations. Afghan officials told The Times in 2021 that their salaries were paid by the CIA. Just days before the shooting, a judge had ordered Trump's deployment of the Guard to D.C. as unlawful. She ruled it unlawful, but stayed her order for 21 days to give Trump time to appeal. Trump did not withdraw the Guard at that point, and in my personal opinion, Dana, those National Guard troops should never have been there in the first place.
100% agree with you.
Our hearts go out to their families and everyone impacted by this tragedy.
Well said. Well said, my friend. All right, this one is from Gallup. Trump's job approval rating has fallen 5 percentage points to 36%. That's the lowest of his second term, while disapproval has risen to 60%. The latest decline follows 3 months of stability, with the 40% to 41% of Americans expressing approval of his handling of the presidency. I'll know all those numbers are very confusing. I just want to focus on that disapproval rate of 60%. His prior second term low in approval was a statistically similar 37% in July, and his all-time low was 34% in 2021 at the end of his first term. That was after the January 6th attack on a Capitol. After dropping 11 points in October to 15% amid the federal government shutdown, Americans' approval of the job the Republican Congress is doing is essentially unchanged at 14%. That means almost 80%. And I know there's some numbers missing there, but that's 80% of people are disapprove of the job Congress is doing. That's huge and really good news for the midterms. The Republicans currently continue to offer a more positive rating of the Republican-led Congress than Democrats do, but the party gap is much narrower than it was earlier this year, as Republicans' approval has sunk to 23% from 54% in September before the shutdown began. Yeah. Meanwhile, 15% of the independents and 4% of Democrats now approve of the way Congress is handling its job. Who the fuck are the 4% of Democrats who are happy with what's this going on?
I think that's the margin of error. I think there are 0.
It has to be. It has to be. Now, the longest shutdown of the federal government, election losses from the Republican Party, and continued concerns about affordability, those all appear to have damaged Trump's standing with the American people in November, especially Republicans and independents. That's huge. His overall job approval rating is down to the lowest point of his second term, and it is approaching the lowest from his first term. His ratings on how the fuck is it higher than his first term? His ratings on individual domestic issues such as the economy, immigration, and the federal budget deficit, which were previously areas of relative strength for him, those are no longer.
Everybody hates him.
Everybody.
Sad. Did you see that photo of him from this weekend? He looked dead.
He did. And I saw a photo of Joe Biden that looked not so dead.
No, yeah, he's fine.
He did. He looks great. And he's fighting cancer, for God's sake.
He is. All of these donors, I just remember reading about these super rich Democratic donors threatening to withhold all of their big dollar donations from down ballot Democrats unless Biden agreed to step aside.
I know.
It's the donor class, and we have to stop listening to those motherfuckers. We got to just stop doing that.
Yeah.
Democrats. So, all right, everybody, we've got a lot of good news and some good trouble, but we're going to take another break. So stick around. We'll be right back. So holiday chaos is real. I juggle lists and hosting duties all with work and too little sleep. So I keep an easy fix on hand, CBD from CB Distillery. It is my go-to for dialing down the noise and easing into the parts of the season that matter. I want to thank them for sponsoring this episode of the Daily Beans and for this discount for you. You can get 25% off your entire purchase at cbdistillery.com and use promo code DailyBeans. So if you want a merry holiday kit, start here. For a friend, a CBD sleep option that supports better rest. For gym buddies, the relief stick that cools and comforts after hard sessions. For me, a small stash of calm to carry through the airport lines and late nights. CB Distillery keeps formulas clean and premium with nothing artificial and no cheap fillers. With over 2 million customers and a 100% money-back guarantee, there's no risk, so you know you're making the right choice. Now, I always reach for the relief stick for my sore muscles after long days at the desk or a chilly run outside. And for nights when my brain will not stop, the sleep gummies help me wind down without feeling groggy the next morning. The labels are clear, the dosing is consistent, and the results feel steady rather than overwhelming. So this year, give yourself and everyone on your list the gift of better sleep, less stress, and pain relief with CBD from CB Distillery. And with the promo code DailyBeans, you can save 25% off your entire purchase. Just visit cbdistillery.com and enter code DailyBeans for 25% off. Again, that's cbdistillery.com and use code DailyBeans. cbdistillery.com. Specific product availability depends on individual state regulations. Everybody, welcome back. It's time for the good news.
Who likes good news? Everyone? Then good news, everyone.
Good news, good news. And if you have any little bit of good news we can share in, whether it's small or big, whether it happened yesterday or 20 years ago, please send it in to us. We want to share in your awesomeness and help us put smiles on our faces in these times. We need to microdose the happiness as best we can. So send that to us. It can also be a shout out to a loved one or a small business in your area or yourself. We love self shout outs. Toot your own horn, as it were. You can shout out your dissertation title or your thesis title. We can't pronounce them usually, but we would love to learn about what you wrote about. You can give a shout out to a nonprofit or a food bank or in your area. You can also give a shout out to a government program that's helped you or a loved one. And all you got to do to get your amazing good news read on the air is pay your pod pet tariff, which means at this point, attach a photo of anything. It really doesn't matter, but we accept, we accept anything, but you can attach a photo of your pet. We can try to guess the breeds in your shelter pup if you want. If you don't have a pet, send us an adoptable pet in your area. We'll see if we can help find him a home. If you don't have that, just grab a random photo off the internet of an animal. We love baby animals, especially otters, frogs, secretary birds, capybaras, pandas, black and white or red. Send them all to us.
We do not discriminate against our pandas.
Nope. Any
or
pandas
any other
fine.
animal or
Cute
any people.
Little pikas, whatever you've got for us. Sugar
Nazis.
gliders, axolotls. Send them to us. And of course, if you don't have any of that, you can just send a picture of what you've been making and creating to get through these times. We'd love to see it. Send it all to us. dailybeanspod.com. Click on contact. First up is your good trouble. Your good trouble comes from Anonymous today. No contract, no coffee. Please stop buying Starbucks while union baristas are on strike. And we have a pledge you can sign that you will not buy Starbucks coffee as long as they're on strike. To Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol, I call on you to bargain a fair contract with Starbucks Workers United Baristas. I support Starbucks baristas in their fight for a union and a fair contract and pledge not to cross the picket line. That means I will not patronize any Starbucks store when baristas are on ULP strike. We'll have a link in the show notes where you can send that and sign that pledge.
I am not always, some of these strikes are not easy for me. This one is. Meaning I can absolutely support this one. Yeah,
awesome.
Not a huge fan of the coffee.
Well,
all right,
helps.
I try and shop at local coffee shops. That's really what it is. All right, this is for Jennifer. Pronouns they them. Hello, Beans Queens. I'm sending in a correction. Compliment sandwich. I love listening y'all's new coverage. It's what keeps me up to date and sane during these insane times. I also love John Fugelsang and his amazing book. I think it's amazing that his book became a New York Times bestseller. I plan on gifting his book to all my MAGA family for Christmas. That being said, my correction is for John, NAG, concerning nursing loan and the student loan program. I listened to this past Friday's episode. As someone who works in higher education as a financial aid counselor, I have to share that. 1, nursing loans were never considered professional graduate level for student loans, and they have always been a general degree. And 2, as such, their aggregate loan limit, which was $138,500, is now $100,000, not $57,500. The $57,500 is the current aggregate loan limit for the undergraduate independent students. And the third thing, nurses were never eligible for the $224,000 aggregate loan limit. It has been reserved for professional students such as medical, dental, and optometry students. Nurse practitioner used to be a professional degree, but because of Trump's Department of Education rules, it's not. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, correction over. Back to the compliments. My favorite part of the Daily Beans is the good news segment, which always makes me smile. I've already shared my 2 sweet puppers, so I will instead share an adoptable pet with you all. This is Po Boy, waiting for a loving forever home at GBHS here in Birmingham, Alabama. I have no clue of all the mixes, but I think the main breed is pretty obvious.
Look at this baby. What do we
this
have
looks
there?
like a corgi, like Australian shepherd.
Yeah, like an Australian. Oh, I can't see. Oh, I have to click on the thing. Because I think Australian cattle dog, right? Yep, that's what they've got here as the obvious main breed. But look at this sweet baby.
Oh.
Jennifer, they, them, thank you so much for that correction. I really appreciate it, and I'll pass that along to John as well. All right, next up from Kara, pronouns she and her. Good day to you, glorious babes of the beans, and all those behind the beans scene. It is I, Kara, anti-capitalist and bearer of good gift-giving options. I want to make more people aware of a gift option that serves 2 purposes. The first is you give a gift that makes the recipient happy. The other is you support the World Wildlife Fund with a symbolic adoption and make an animal very happy. They have different amounts and gift packages, and the choices of species for symbolic adoption are remarkable. Like pandas, they have red ones, black and white too. Like boobies, they got red and blue-footed kinds. Like leaf sheep, yep, got them too. Don't give a fuck about much of anything anymore? Adopt a honey badger. There's something for everyone. These poor creatures need us now more than ever, with the climate crisis only getting worse, right, Cara? And the fact that they're getting rid of the Endangered Species Act. We did a symbolic adoption of a koala when my oldest was around 12. She's now 27 and still talks about being a koala stepmom. Anywho, here's a link. Thanks for all you do. Love you all. Also attached is a picture of our wild animal, Ted. He was found roaming in a field in Texas, but he is a New Englander now. No idea what combo he is. What are your guesses? The second one I grabbed from the interwebs, but it's adorable. So we've got this dog wearing Chuck Taylors, and then we've got the otters for you.
I love them.
Okay, this dog clearly has some sort of terrier in him.
For sure.
Adorable. Thank you so much.
What was the dog from As Good As It Gets?
That is a Cairn Terrier? No.
Wheaton?
No.
Not Wheaton.
What is that little guy? Let's see.
I think there's some of that in here.
Dog from As Good As It Gets is a Brussels Griffon.
I think there's some Brussels Griffon in there.
Named Verdell. Named Verdell.
Yes.
Oh my God. I love that movie so much.
Me too.
What if this is as good as it gets? And then everybody in the waiting room at his psychiatrist office is like, oh, thank you so much for that.
Speaking of Karen Terriers, this is not a terrier, but it's from Karen, pronounced she and her. Hello, ladies of the Leguminati. Shout out to my sister and fellow Leguminati, Adina, for recommending the Daily Beans and for the arrangement of all 5 of us sisters to see Paul McCartney in Chicago this week.
Whoa!
Beyond amazing for my pod pet Tariff, my sometimes sweet ginger kitty Cody.
That is a cool present, Karen.
Heck yeah.
Shout out to Adina, wow, Paul McCartney, all 5 sisters. Look at this cat helping with the puzzle.
So good.
Always helping, always supervising. Looks like you got the edges, though. That's the hardest part.
The hardest part. Well done. Well done, kitty.
Next up from CG, pronouns she and her. I've been a loyal listener since the kitchen table days. Whoop, whoop. In case you're a new listener here, and we've got thousands and thousands of new listeners. Kitchen table days is when I started the Mueller, She Wrote podcast in 2017 at my kitchen table with like a $10 shitty microphone and said, you know what? We'll build our wings on the way down. We got to get on the air. So that's the kitchen table days. I was literally at my own kitchen table managing a popular ice cream brand Twitter account when I first encountered the show. Oh, a popular ice cream brand. I bet I know which one it is. Out of nowhere, the account got mention after mention from listeners urging the brand to sponsor the podcast, but I didn't have enough sway to make that happen. The consolation prize is it turned me into a lifelong listener. I found your show in 2017, and your level-headed yet optimistic approach to the news has been a breath of fresh air. So is your artful and very appropriate use of profanity. You've answered my anxious DMs over the years, which has helped more than you know. And DG, you've been such a great addition. I admire all the advocacy work that you've done. You're an inspiration to our community. Now for the shout out part. In 2018, I met my amazing, one-of-a-kind wife. When people ask what she does, I tell them she saves lives. My wife, Jennifer, is a clinically trained licensed marriage and family therapist specializing in LGBTQIA gender-affirming therapy.
Amazing.
She completed more than 3,000 hours of training at the end of last year and passed her clinical exam on the first try. She helps people in the LGBTQIA community challenge internalized oppression and cultivate self-acceptance and empowerment. I've seen firsthand how deeply she cares about her clients. It says so much about her ability and character that many of them have been with her for years. She is fiercely protective of the trans community and especially knowledgeable about the challenges trans people face, especially in this current administration. If any Beans listeners or their loved ones need support exploring gender, sexuality, or life transitions, I know the therapeutic process with her will truly be transformative. While I've never been her client, her presence in anyone's life is a rare gift. I'm incredibly proud of her, and it's my mission to help her help as many people as possible. She has no idea I'm writing this, but she'll find out. If you read it on the air, love you, babe. We'll have a link to Jennifer's profile at psychologytoday.com in the show notes. CG, thank you so much. Podpet Tax is Sloan, our 5-year-old Pitty, and Rumi, our 12-year-old cancer-fighting Pitty, each with their favorite corn on the cob dog toy. It's corn. It's a lump with knobs. It's got the juice. Look at these sweet babies.
So sweet.
What a great shout out, CG. And I do remember that. I remember DMing you. I remember the ice cream that you sent, and it was delicious, and I ate all of it. What a great memory. Thank you so much. And thanks for this incredible shout out.
That's awesome. This is from Chip S., pronouns he and him. I want to shout out my spouse with cursing. Jody refuses to listen to the news. All the fuckery is just more than she can handle. So she won't hear this, but you fine folks will. For my tax, I've included 2 photos. One is of kitchen towel my daughter with swearing gave my wife with swearing for our Christmas with swearing. We swear a fucking lot. The towel says, what the fuckulent, and it's got succulents on it, which is super cute. The second photo is my boy Willis. We have not done a DNA test, but the boxer's undeniable. He's a little small for a boxer, so we're thinking Staffy or Bulldog. Either way, he's 100% good boy and the loveliest lover ever. Thanks for all you do to keep us sane. Look at this baby.
Oh, yeah, there's some pity in there. Maybe a little bit of a smaller dog. A Chihuahua watched.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, what a love. I love that. What the fuckulent with succulents on it.
Fuckulent.
Chip, thank you. Everybody, thank you. This was an incredible round of good news. We appreciate you so very much. Please send all your good news to us, dailybeanspod.com. Click on contact. Do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here today, my friend?
Nope. Just send in love. Send in love.
Yeah, same. And I'm very excited to launch our very first premiere episode of the Beans Talk video podcast. Everybody go to MSW Media's YouTube channel and subscribe for free. We'll see you there. Until tomorrow, we'll be back in your ears. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of the planet, take care of your mental health, and take care of your family. I've been AG.
I've been DG.
And them's the Beans.
The Daily Beans is written and executive produced by Allison Gill with additional research and reporting by Dana Goldberg. Sound design and editing is by Desiree McFarlane. with art and web design by Joel Reeder with Moxie Design Studios. Music for The Daily Beans is written and performed by They Might Be Giants, and the show is a proud member of the MSW Media Network, a collection of creator-owned podcasts dedicated to news, politics, and justice. For more information, please visit mswmedia.com.
MSW Media.